to see that everybody made it to the new year, January 2012. I hope you all partied hard, spent time with your family or with your friends, because I know I did. I was out popping bottles, had a great time. Anyway, it's your girl Lisa, your classy diva, better known as Miss Diva for short, here to talk to you about very important skincare that we all need to focus on and make sure that we keep on top of it, because if we don't, it could get really bad. And that's basically cleansing and making sure that we remove three important nasty little buggers that can happen on our face at any point in time. One is whiteheads, blackheads, as well as milia. So we're going to talk about that.
Everywhere I go, everywhere that I've been.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the first topic we're going to talk about is blackheads. We all know about blackheads. Everybody have their opinions on what it is, how it come to be. Well, I'm going to give you the 101 on blackheads and how they need to be removed. First of all, the medical term for a blackhead is called an open comedone. And what that is basically your sebaceous gland duct, which is located in your hair follicle, is being blocked and plugged up by keratin as well as sebum. Keratin is basically the skin that is built, which makes the skin layer on your body. And what happens is when the dead skin does not slough off, it becomes stuck in your hair follicle, and it also combines with the sebum, which is the oils that are located in your follicles as well. Now, when they become blocked in your hair follicle, and what happens when you see that little black speck, it becomes oxidized. And oxidation is basically when the oxygen from the air hits the oil, and sorry to say, but it turns rancid. That's why it looks black. And it's very important that these little black rancid oil get removed from out of your follicle, allow it to be free, so that way it can get more vitamin and minerals put in as you cleanse and tone and moisturize your skin. So it's very, very important that we unblock these blackheads, because if you don't, they then will go to the next phase of turning into little pustules and pimples, and then you would get full-on acne. So unblocking your pores, clearing out the blackheads are very, very important. And we're going to talk about how you can do that.
Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere I go, everywhere that I've been. The only
So the next thing we're going to talk about are whiteheads that will show up on the skin, which is also a nasty little bump that happens on the face as well. It is the same concept as a blackhead, but what the medical term for a whitehead is called a closed comedone. Because what is taking place under the skin is you are getting that buildup of oil and sebum in the hair follicle, which is completely plugged but is covered over by dead skin layer, and it's completely blocked. So there is no opening. Like the blackhead, there is an opening, so that's why they call it an open comedone, because it's actually open. You can squeeze it right out. With the whitehead, it's closed. You actually need to create a tiny opening in order to release this little white, almost pussy looking type of bump that'll be raised on your skin. Now, not in all cases are the whiteheads completely white and pussy. Sometimes they may look like flesh color. So it is hard to detect whether it is a pussy little whitehead or whether it's oil just trapped under the skin. And you may not be able to see it. You may think that, oh, you're just developing a little bit of a rough skin, where in actuality it is a whitehead, but it's just have not completely rose to the surface. But we'll talk about the next phase of what a whitehead can turn to if you allow the dead skin to build up and harden. And we'll go into that.
I see it's beautiful people, beautiful people, beautiful people, beautiful people.
Okay, now the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is something that I'm sure many of you have seen as well, but wasn't quite sure what it could be. This is called Amelia. An Amelia looks similar to a whitehead, but is slightly different. It is a bead of trapped oil, which is under the skin, and it's a buildup of keratin and sebum, which develops into an oily cyst. Now, this is very difficult to remove on your own. What happens here is the skin has completely hardened over, and it looks like a tiny little white pearl ball that develops under the skin. This, you have to see a professional in order to get it removed. Absolutely not. You should never ever try to remove Amelia by yourself at home. Now, Amelia happens to people of all ages. Even little babies can get Amelia upon birth. It is something that just occurs. Now, when a newborn or a child gets it, it does eventually dissipate and fade. But when you get adult onset Amelia, you do need to see a professional and have it removed. Now, the next phase I'm going to talk about is actual removal of blackhead, whitehead, and Amelia. So stay tuned.
Don't you know? Don't you know? Oh, beautiful. Don't you know? Oh, don't you know? Don't you know? Oh, beautiful. Don't you know? No, no. Live your life. Live your life. Let that love inside.
Okay, I'm going to now discuss extractions. It is very important that everyone understand that extractions at some point can be done at home. But there are some phases of extractions that I would completely advise you to seek a professional. I saw a YouTube where a young lady told folks that they could take a common household pin, and she also pulled out a thumbtack and said that these things were perfectly safe to use to extract whiteheads as well as Amelias. I absolutely suggest and really would advise you never ever put a pin or a thumbtack to your skin. You could really damage your skin, and then you would end up creating scars and lesions on your skin that will have serious damage and would take a lot of work in order to heal and remove. First things first is an extraction, which is done in my office, is done by a surgical lancet and are done by surgical stainless steel, which I have, which is called an extraction tool. Now, this extraction tool is something that can be purchased in any of pretty much a beauty store or a store that I go to. I go to a professional store to buy mine, which mine is more of a dermatologist grade, but there are some that's out there that you can purchase for home use. But like I said, you have to be very careful in using it. Now, this can be used on any blackhead. You would isolate the blackhead on the face, and it could be easily extracted. This is the purpose of that. Now, for extracting whiteheads, it is very important that, first of all, that your hands are thoroughly sterilized, the skin is thoroughly cleansed. Whether blackhead, whitehead, or Amelia, your skin needs to be thoroughly cleansed. Your hands need to be thoroughly sterilized. Implements, which are these tools, these are the implements, need to be thoroughly sterilized with If you have at home and you can find at least 90% grade alcohol would be better. I know they sell 70 out there, but if you can find 90 or 91 proof, that would be better to sterilize these implements. And you can remove blackheads at home. Now, as far as whiteheads and milia, I completely advise you and suggest that you do not do them yourself at home. Because if you try to remove a whitehead and you burst the little whitehead and you notice some are coming out, you can accidentally burst the whitehead and have it explode underneath the skin, which would allow it to spread further under the skin throughout your face. And then a couple days later, you will notice other whiteheads are popping up around in the similar general area of where you burst the original whitehead. That can happen very easily if you don't go to a professional, have a professional lance it and remove it completely out of your face without having any little eruptions going under the skin. You could have a huge breakout. I would definitely suggest whitehead and milias, please come see me at my office at a professional setting, see an esthetician, see a dermatologist, and have those things removed. This is what I would call and use in my office as a lancet. This is surgical, sterilized tool that we use, and they come in many different sizes and shapes. This is just one. As you can see, it is a very, very fine, pinpoint sterilized needle. This needle is used to do a tiny, tiny prick right under the whitehead. We also use it to do a tiny, tiny prick right under the milia, and then we use our tool and we apply a little bit of pressure and we remove the whitehead and the milia from your skin. So it's very important. Once this is used on our client, it is discarded and thrown away in a special receptacle container. So this is surgical. Once it's open, it's been exposed and used on the client, we then seal it off and throw it away. So these are already pre-sterilized for each client. So just to let you know, we use gloves, vinyl, or we use latex gloves, and sometimes we'll use our finger. These are called finger cots, and these cots are used in our office as well. And it's only better, that way we can get a better manipulation of the skin. We use a sterile gauze, we wrap our fingers, and then we are able to get in the client's skin. If we're unable to get in an area where I use my tool, I will use my good old-fashioned fingers, and we'll get into the skin and we'll do some removal this way. But this, like I said, is done in my office in a professional setting. I would advise you, as far as whiteheads and milias, please, if you can, do not do that at home by yourself. See a professional. Blackheads, absolutely, with a good amount of steam, a really good cleanse. You can probably definitely work on getting the blackheads out yourself, but just be very careful not to put too much pressure. You don't want any of the oils and dirt to be pushed deeper into your skin, because that can cause further problems throughout your face. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's very important for the 2012 to take care of your skin. Who better deserve to be treated good than you? Every 6 to 8 weeks, go see a professional. Have your skin thoroughly cleansed using quality products, quality enzymes, quality cleansers, and be pampered at the same time. Give me a call. I can be reached. You can hit me up on Facebook. You can reach me at Soul Cafe Magazine. Come on, people. I need you. Check into the Soul Cafe Magazine. Click like. We got a little competition going on. I need to know how many people are liking my page, liking what I have to say. Go to my site. Click that you like what you see. Show me some love. Thank you again for tuning in. Happy New Year's. See you soon.
Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere I go, everywhere that I've been, the only thing I see is beautiful people, beautiful people, beautiful people, beautiful people. Don't you know, don't you know? Oh, beautiful, don't you know? Oh, don't you know, don't you know? Oh, beautiful, don't you know?